but not expensive enough to justify my sister's attitude. Olivia sat at the head of the table in her Chanel suit, surrounded by her bridesmaids, our mother and 2 aunts. I sat at the far end in my simple cotton dress from Target, nursing my orange juice because I had work calls later. So the photographer confirmed he can do an extra hour for family portraits, Olivia was saying, scrolling through her phone. That's $800, but Daddy said he'd cover it. Our father beamed. Nothing's too good for my little girl's wedding. I smiled into my orange juice. Olivia was 32. Hardly little. But she'd always been the princess. Harvard-educated, engaged to a corporate lawyer, working as a senior marketing executive at a Fortune 500 company. I was the family disappointment at 28. Emily, you're being so quiet, my mother said, looking down the table at me. Are you sure you're feeling well? You look a bit tired. I'm fine, Mom. Just listening. Are you still working at that event planning place? Aunt Margaret asked with poorly concealed pity. What was it called again? Thompson Event Design, I said. Right, she nodded sympathetically. And they have you doing, what exactly? Coordinating events, I said simply. Olivia's maid of honor, Brittany, whispered something to her. Olivia glanced at me and nodded. My stomach tightened. I knew that look. Actually, Emily, we need to discuss something. Olivia set down her mimosa with the air of someone about to deliver bad news for my own good. About the wedding. Okay, I said carefully. We've been looking at the photos from the engagement party, she continued. And while there's no easy way to say this, you don't really fit the aesthetic we're going for. The table went quiet. Mom looked uncomfortable but said nothing. The aesthetic? I repeated. The wedding is very upscale, Brittany jumped in. Olivia and Marcus have invested over $200,000 to make it perfect. The Carlton Estate, designer florals, a Michelin star chef. Everyone needs to look the part. We can't have you ruining our photos, Olivia said, her voice taking on that edge she used when she wanted to sound sympathetic but firm. You understand, right? It's not personal. It's just that your situation doesn't match the elegance we're trying to achieve. The whole table agreed I'd make them look bad. My mother nodded reluctantly. Aunt Margaret murmured something about understanding the vision. Even my cousin Sarah, who I'd helped move apartments last year, wouldn't meet my eyes. Pie situation? I asked quietly. Your clothes, your hair, your general presentation, Olivia gestured vaguely at me. You always look so worn out. Like you can't afford better. And at a wedding this high-end, we need everyone to look polished. I could buy a new dress, I offered, already knowing where this was going. It's not just the dress, Olivia sighed. It's everything. The way you carry yourself. You work in event planning but you look like you can't even plan your own wardrobe. Marcus's family is very prominent. His mother is already concerned about our side of the family looking appropriate. So you're uninviting me, I stated. We're asking you to sit this one out, my mother said gently. Just the ceremony and reception. You can still come to the rehearsal dinner if you'd like. Something smaller, more casual. More hidden, I corrected. Olivia's face hardened. Don't be dramatic. We're trying to be kind about this. Some siblings wouldn't even invite you to the rehearsal dinner. My phone rang. Perfect timing. My phone rang with the ringtone I'd set for my executive team. Vivaldi's Spring, distinctive and professional. I glanced at the screen. Caroline Martinez, my executive assistant and the best event coordinator in the state. I should take this, I said. Work call. Can't it wait? Olivia frowned. We're in the middle of. I answered. Hi Caroline. Ms. Thompson, the Carlton Estate is confirming your sister's wedding cancellation? Caroline's voice was crisp and professional. She knew exactly what she was doing. We discussed this possibility last week when she told me about booking a wedding for an Olivia Thompson at the Carlton Estate. Small world. Smaller than Olivia realized. I put it on speaker, setting the phone on the table. What cancellation? I asked clearly, watching my sister's face. The Thompson-Whitmore wedding scheduled for June 15th, Caroline continued. The bride called our office yesterday requesting to move the ceremony to the Grand Belmont instead. However, the contract clearly states that venue changes require the estate owner's approval. Since you own the Carlton Estate, I need your signature to release them from the contract. Sister's face went white. The color drained from her perfectly made-up cheeks like someone had pulled a plug. What? Olivia's voice came out as a whisper. Oh, and the bride was quite rude to our coordinator, Jennifer, Caroline added. She called her incompetent, and said our venue was acceptable but not prestigious enough. Should I add her to our difficult client list? The Carlton Estate, I said slowly, is the venue my sister is using for her wedding. This call is about her. Pause. Then Caroline's voice, warm with understanding. Oh. I see. Would you like me to call back, Miss Thompson? No, this is fine. But let me clarify. My sister didn't call to change venues. And Jennifer is one of our best coordinators. There must be a misunderstanding. Actually, Olivia found her voice, though it shook. I did call. But I didn't know. Emily, what is she talking about? You own the Carlton Estate. I picked up my phone, taking it off speaker. Caroline, I'll call you back in 10 minutes. Of course, Ms. Thompson. For the record, the wedding is beautiful. Jennifer has done excellent work despite the bride's particular requirements. I hung up and looked at my sister's white face, at my mother's shocked expression, at the table full of women who just agreed I wasn't good enough for a family wedding. Jennifer Harris, I said calmly, is the venue coordinator at the Carlton Estate. She reports to Caroline Martinez, my executive assistant. Caroline reports to me. I own Thompson Event Design, not work at OWN. We're the largest luxury event company on the East Coast. The Carlton Estate is one of 12 premium venues in our portfolio. 12 venues, my mother breathed. The Carlton Estate alone is worth $18 million, I continued. We host about 80 weddings a year there, plus corporate events, galas and private parties. Your wedding, Olivia, is one of 3 happening that weekend. Olivia grabbed her phone, fingers shaking as she scrolled. The contract I signed, it said Carlton Estate Management LLC. Pie Company, I confirmed. We manage all our properties through LLCs for liability purposes. It's standard business practice. Aunt Margaret leaned forward. You're saying you own the venue where Olivia is getting married? I'm saying I own the company that owns the venue, yes. Thompson Event Design. We've been in business for 6 years. Last year's revenue was $47 million. We employ 230 people full-time and another 500 contractors during peak season. Brittany made a strangled sound. But you look like I can't afford better? I finished for her. I dress simply because I spend 12 hours a day running a business. I don't need designer labels to prove anything. I need comfortable clothes that let me move between a construction site for our new venue in the morning and a black tie gala in the evening. Olivia's hands trembled as she set down her phone. Jennifer. Your coordinator. She's been planning my wedding for 8 months. Yes. She's excellent at her job. One of our best. I called her incompetent yesterday, Olivia whispered. She suggested orchids instead of peonies for the centerpieces because peonies won't be in season. I told her she clearly didn't understand luxury events. Jennifer has coordinated over 300 weddings, I said. She was trying to save you money and ensure your flowers would be fresh. Peonies in June would cost you an additional $15,000 and likely arrive wilted. My mother found her voice. Emily, why didn't you tell us? I tried, I said. 6 years ago when I started the company. You told me event planning was frivolous and I should get a real job, like Olivia's marketing position. When I bought the Carlton Estate 3 years ago, I invited you to the opening gala. You said you were too busy with Olivia's promotion party. The silence at the table was deafening. Every Sunday dinner, I continued, I listened to you praise Olivia's accomplishments, her salary, her title, her engagement to Marcus. When I tried to share my successes, you'd change the subject or make dismissive comments about party planning. Eventually I stopped trying. Dad appeared at the table late as always, carrying his golf clubs. Sorry, traffic from the course was terrible. What did I miss? Emily owns the Carlton Estate, Mom said faintly. Dad laughed. Good one. Emily, you had me going for a second. He looked around at the serious faces. Wait, what? I pulled up my phone and opened the Thompson Event Design website, turning it so he could see. My professional photo smiled from the About page. Hairstyled, makeup professional, wearing the Armani suit I kept for client meetings. Founder and CEO, Emily Thompson. That's you. Dad stared at the photo, then at me. You look so different. Professional styling for the website, I said. But yes, that's me. Thompson Event Design. We're booking events 18 months out. We were featured in Event Professional magazine last year as one of the fastest growing companies in the industry. Olivia made it sound like she was going to be sick. Marcus's mother. She's been bragging to everyone about hosting the wedding at the Carlton estate. She said it was the most exclusive venue in the state. I've been letting her think we're so well connected. You are well connected, I said. You're connected to me. Your sister. The one you just uninvited from your wedding for not being polished enough. Emily, I didn't know. That's the point, Olivia. You didn't know because you never bothered to look. None of you did. You were so convinced I was failing that you never noticed I was succeeding. I stood up, gathering my purse. A worn leather bag that had belonged to my grandmother, not because I couldn't afford better but because I loved it. Caroline is waiting for my call, I said. I need to decide whether to approve your venue change request or enforce the contract clause about client behavior towards staff. Emily, please, Olivia's voice cracked. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please don't cancel my wedding. I'm not going to cancel your wedding, I said. That would be petty and it would punish Marcus for your mistakes. He's actually been lovely to work with, very respectful to our staff, always on time for meetings, genuinely excited about every detail. Relief flooded Olivia's face. However, I continued, there will be some changes. First, you're going to call Jennifer and apologize. A real apology, not the, I'm sorry you felt that way kind. You'll acknowledge that you were wrong to question her expertise and that you spoke to her disrespectfully. Olivia nodded frantically. Of course. Anything. Second, the orchids Jennifer suggested? You're using them. She's the professional and you're going to trust her expertise. Same goes for every other suggestion she's made that you've overruled because you thought you knew better. Jennifer has coordinated over 300 weddings. You're planning your first. Listen to her. Hey. Yes. Whatever she thinks is best. Third, I want a formal written apology to every single staff member you've been rude to over the past 8 months. I've read the incident reports, Olivia. You've made 3 coordinators cry, you've accused 2 florists of incompetence, and you told our pastry chef that his cake samples tasted mediocre. That same pastry chef has won international awards. Olivia's face went red. I was just trying to make everything perfect. You were being a nightmare client, I interrupted. There's a difference between having high standards and treating people like they're beneath you. Our staff are professionals who take pride in their work. They deserve respect. I'll apologize to everyone, Olivia whispered. I promise. Fourth, I looked around the table. Everyone who just agreed I wasn't good enough to attend this wedding owes me an apology. Not now. I don't want fake apologies born from embarrassment. Take time to think about it. Think about how quickly you agreed to exclude me, how easily you accepted that I was an embarrassment. Then if you genuinely feel sorry, you can tell me. Mom's eyes filled with tears. Emily, sweetheart. I'll attend your wedding, Olivia, I said. Not because you're allowing me to, but because Marcus invited me personally last month. He contacted Thompson Event Design to ask if we could arrange a surprise for you, a string quartet during dinner. When he realized I was your sister, he insisted I attend as family, not just as the venue owner. He's a good man. Better than you deserve right now, honestly. Olivia burst into tears. I'll wear something appropriate, I continued. I have a closet full of designer gowns for events. I just don't wear them to family brunches where I'm going to be criticized anyway. I looked at my mother. The rehearsal dinner you graciously offered to let me attend? I own that venue too. The Harbor Club. We're hosting it at cost as a family gift. You might want to be nicer to the staff there as well. Mom covered her mouth with her hand. One more thing, I said, pulling out my business card and sliding it across to Olivia. Jennifer mentioned you've been having trouble with your caterer. Something about them not being able to handle the menu you want? Olivia nodded miserably. Call the number on that card. Ask for Chef Marcel. He's our executive chef and he's won James Beard Awards. Tell him I sent you. He'll handle your menu personally at the same price you're paying your current caterer. Consider it a wedding gift from your embarrassing sister. I walked away from the table, leaving behind shocked silence and the ruins of their assumptions. My phone rang again as I reached my car. Caroline. How did it go? She asked. About as well as expected, I said. Don't cancel the wedding. But do flag Olivia Thompson's file. If she's rude to staff again, I want to know immediately. Understood. Also, the mayor's office called. They want to discuss hosting the governor's inauguration ball at the Carlton estate in January. Should I send them the premium package information? I smiled, starting my car. A practical Toyota that I drove because I'd rather invest in properties than vehicles. Send them the presidential package. If they're bringing the governor, we'll do it right. Will do, boss. And Emily? For what it's worth, I looked up your sister's wedding file. Based on her behavior, I would have uninvited her from any event I was running. I laughed. Thanks, Caroline. I'll be in the office in 20 minutes. We have the Grayson anniversary party to finalize. As I drove away from the country club, I caught sight of my reflection in the rearview mirror. Same worn-out Emily in her Target dress. But now my family knew what I'd always known. The clothes don't make the success. The work does. My phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. Olivia just called me crying. Did something happen at brunch? I typed back. Just a little family misunderstanding. All sorted now. See you at the venue walkthrough Tuesday. He responded immediately, looking forward to it. And thank you for the string quartet idea. She's going to love it. At least one member of Olivia's wedding party had manners. That was something. I pulled into the parking lot of Thompson Event Design headquarters, a restored Victorian mansion that served as our main office. My name was on a plaque by the door, small and understated, just like I preferred. Inside, my team was already working on next month's events. Caroline handed me a coffee as I walked in. Your sister's file is flagged, she confirmed. Also, Jennifer wants to thank you. Apparently, she just received a very emotional apology call. Good, I said. Now let's talk about the governor's ball. I'm thinking we use the ballroom and the sculpture garden. And just like that, I was back to work. Building my empire one event at a time. Whether my family noticed or not,